It's September 29th, and this week is all about consolidation in chips, in money, and in policy. These are the headlines we're watching, and the longer arcs we'll keep following as they unfold. NVIDIA makes a $100 billion bet on OpenAI. Britain locks in a record £150 billion in tech investments. Anthropic rockets to a $183 billion valuation, and the UN weighs global guardrails. Meanwhile, Huawei grows its developer army, OpenAI goes shopping, and a tiny startup shows small models can punch way above their weight. Let's break it down. In AI, everything starts with compute, and NVIDIA just doubled down. This week, NVIDIA pledged up to $100 billion in chips and investment to OpenAI, becoming both its primary hardware supplier and a financial backer. The deal locks in infrastructure for OpenAI's next generation of models, while raising antitrust questions as NVIDIA cements its lead in AI hardware. For enterprises, it shows how quickly compute is consolidating. For investors, it's NVIDIA betting that tying itself to the leading lab is worth the scrutiny. Across the Atlantic, Britain is positioning itself as an AI hub with American money. During President Trump's state visit, the UK announced a £150 billion investment package from US firms. Blackstone leads with $100 billion, Microsoft adds $22 billion, and NVIDIA pledged another $11 billion in hardware and services. It's the biggest foreign tech investment in UK history. For the UK, it's jobs and capacity. For critics, it risks turning Britain into an outpost of US hyperscalers. For enterprises, it means more compute options in Europe, but likely on American terms. And the race for capital is accelerating. Valuations are soaring. Anthropic closed a $13 billion round led by Iconic, pushing its valuation to $183 billion. Google and Amazon are deepening their stakes, and Amazon is reportedly eyeing another multi-billion-dollar injection. The message? Investor appetite for frontier labs has not cooled. For rivals, it means Anthropic has a war chest to compete with OpenAI and Google for years. And we are continuing to keep an eye on the UN's first step towards AI governance. After last week's Security Council debate, plans for a global panel and annual forum are moving forward. But without binding power, it's still more signal than substance. The big question is whether the US and China will ever treat these guardrails as more than symbolic. And China is not standing still. At its Connect 2025 event, Huawei announced upgrades to its AI cloud, now claiming 8.5 million developers and 50,000 industry partners. New mega clusters and industry-specific tools aim to rival Western clouds. For global enterprises, Huawei's growth is mostly regional, but it shows China is building scale even under export restrictions. Now, not all progress is about going bigger. Cambridge startup Liquid AI unveiled its nano models, just 350 million to 2.6 billion parameters running locally on phones and laptops, yet rivaling GPT-4 class systems on targeted tasks. For enterprises, this could mean cheaper, private, compliance-friendly AI. For RC, it's validation. Small models aren't just efficient, they're competitive. There's also a deeper shift happening in how AI spreads globally. Signals in the market point to a widening split. China is pushing open weights and open data, while most Western labs are moving towards closed systems. That could make Chinese models easier to adopt across emerging markets, a kind of belt and road for AI. For investors, it highlights adoption risk. Open ecosystems spread fast. For enterprises, it raises compliance questions about which ecosystem they'll be tied to. And for challengers, it's an opening. Small, efficient models that can run locally and securely may be the best counterweight. And finally, OpenAI is expanding beyond models. It acquired product experimentation startup Statsig for $1.1 billion, bringing its CEO in as CTO of applications. The deal bolsters OpenAI's ability to iterate ChatGPT and other tools with enterprise-grade testing and rollout. For enterprises, it's a move toward business-ready AI services. For investors, it's OpenAI professionalizing and moving closer to a full product ecosystem. The through line this week? AI power is concentrating in compute, in capital, and in governance. For enterprises and investors, these aren't just headlines. They're shifts that will define the landscape. We'll keep tracking both the week-to-week moves and the longer arcs as they unfold.